Square foot. development.
Oh, but you said, the 1.6 is cheap for this.
Good afternoon. This is City of Forest Park Urban Design Review Board meeting on Friday, June 20th. I now call this meeting to order.
Back here.
All right, let's go ahead and first item on the agenda is the roll call.
Rodney Gibbons.
Present.
Rodney Gibbons is present.
Be a long meeting.
Yeah, you're over here twice.
Rodney Gibbons,
Present.
Ron Dotson,
Present.
Yahya Hassan,
Present.
Carol Clayton. Present. Yanni Cortez. Yanni Cortez is absent. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item is the approval of our minutes from the April 18th board meeting. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move we accept the minutes.
I have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Hear none opposed. Motion passes. Next item is old business. This is an item that we tabled from the April 18th meeting. It's concept design review. Okay, can you go ahead with the staff report, please?
Is a table item that was from the April 18th hearing. This is for 04% court. The applicant Jason application is requesting the approval for the new multifamily duplex. That it will be at within 0. This is located within the multifamily residential district. It is within Ward 2. Acreage is 0.16 acres, and parcel ID is 13049A A031. Again, the applicant is requesting the conceptual design approval for the new construction of a 2-family duplex home on the vacant property, which is the applicant did address some of the questions that the board members had in the April 18th meeting. He did provide staff with more concept design of his so he showed that the roof will be a flat and pitched roof. The design also enhances the appeal of the practical benefits with flooding, structural support, and the potential for system. He also included materials where it is compatible with the character as the state before. Again, the exterior will be in a combination of party paint and party wood. That will be paired with the gray architectural roof of again black. Did also supply the entry point, which will be through the front and the rear of the the conceptual design is consistent with the items of the district and demonstrate a more high level of quality, material cohesion, and criteria. On page 7, you will see the, the new materials that we supplied to is the hardy plank, the roof, again, flat pitch, with some with it. And page 8, you'll see the aerial map, the drawing map. Page 9, you'll see the front.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion, can I get a second?
A second.
I'm sorry,
Hold on.
public comments,
Public
please.
comments.
Oh, on this one too?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you just meant the other one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. Well, we'll hold off on that motion second. Are there any comments from the audience that are in favor of this agenda item? Step forward. Please step forward, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Looking at the plans and specs and everything, this looks like a pretty design, awful narrow, building lot though, which is why I'm sure you all are taking this into account. That's a small lane as well, so when they start construction, understand that there probably will be some disruption to the few residents that live on that street.
Mhm.
As far as construction, please take that into consideration. Also, I wonder if anyone in the neighborhood had been notified about this plan that was coming to their neighborhood. Like I said, I live a street over. I didn't receive any kind of notices. I'm wondering if anybody on the Ferguson Court Street got any word of this happening in their neighborhood. I'd be concerned if they didn't.
Sir, can you repeat your name again, please, for the record? For the record, can you repeat your name again?
My name is Clifford Pellegrini. I'm speaking into the mic. Those folks are watching at home, and I'm not sure if it's picking up anyone who's speaking from here. I live at 1048 Finley Drive, right on the corner of Finley and Courtney.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure staff can get back with you with the answers to those questions.
The board, we're typically looking at the architectural design of the property. Staff has notified the neighboring places, neighboring properties of any new development that comes in typically through the planning commission department and, planning commission. So we have done that in the sense of sending out notices to anyone who wants to do the hearing or for anyone who wants to participate. So being that this is the review board.
I understand the answer to your question is that's done under another board. It's not in this, it's not under the purview of this particular board, sir.
Sorry, I just want to add, hi.
Oh, sorry.
Ron Iris from my Mr. Dixon's property did go before a rezoning in 2024. That was approved by mayor and council and the planning commission, so that was advertised. He also went before the planning commission this year for a variance on the lot, to conform to the current standards for the necessary standards for the RM district. That also was provided notice. There was a sign placed on the property, and there was public notice sent out to the surrounding property owners, regarding that variance. So the Urban Design Review Board just reviewed the architectural design. At this time, he went previously before the board back in April and was tabled. So today's meeting is just a follow-up from that meeting. But public notice was provided based off of the variances that the applicant were required to complete order.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other comments from the public? Either for or against? Okay, well, we have a motion on the table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Hearing none opposed, motion passes. Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda. It is a conceptual design for a new two-building data center. I'd like to hear the report from the staff now, please. Good afternoon.
This is located in our Fort Dewey district. Back in finally, the applicant is requesting a conceptual design approval from the Urban Design Review Board for the proposed development of a two-building data center complex located within a 10-acre heavily wooded vacant parcel in the district. The project includes two tilt-up concrete structure buildings. One is a two-story, 1,600,000 square foot facility. And building two is a two-story, 200,000 square foot. Both buildings feature glass curtain walls and they, at the main entrance, are visually accessible. The architectural design elements include a TPO roofing system, which provides visibility and energy efficiency. Platinum pre-finished aluminum curtain wall panels offering a sleek industrial appearance. The fenestration consists of aluminum windows with aluminum clad trim surrounding, while the building entries are marked by glass doors, frames, and metal. Each utility entrance is further defined by a minimalist aluminum fencing. In addition to the primary structure, the overall site includes the development of 10-acre electrical substation, internal access drives, security guard houses, surface parking areas, utility infrastructure, a stormwater management facility, and a comprehensive landscaping plan to soften the industrial character of the site and address tree loss from site clearing. Within the review criteria, the architectural design plan shall be reviewed based on the following. A, design shall be in harmony with the general character of development of high quality, if any, in the surrounding areas. The proposed design reflects the character of the quality of the nearby development and is consistent with the established architectural context of the surrounding area. The site plan located within the Gillum district is in proximity to the other warehouse and distribution centers located in the surrounding B, design components shall be planned in such a fashion that are physically and aesthetically related and coordinated with other elements of the project surrounding environment. The design concept components are thoughtfully planned to be physically and aesthetically cohesive, ensuring coordination with both the overall project and the surrounding environment. When we review contiguous zoning of this proposed property or structure, north is outside of the city limits, south is within our Gillum district, east is also within our Gillum district, and west is outside of the city limits. So feature, design shall promote scenic views and natural features of the site. The site lacks prominent natural features. The design shall protect adjacent properties from negative visual impact. The design does project adjacent properties from negative visual impact. The proposed project is located within. In all exterior forms, attached to the building shall be conforming with the secondary of the building. The secondary building is consistent in exterior form and design with the primary structure. If we look on, we have a list of all of the materials on the north, south, east, and west facade that gives a view of what the item is consists of. On page 20, we have an aerial map that shows the location of where the property and the construction will take place. The next site or the next phase of page 21 is our zoning map. Within the zoning district is consist of. For the next page on page 22, current condition photos. Since this is a vacant lot, there is limited road access. There are no current photos that could be taken of the site. There is limited access. Go on site and take photos. So it's heavily limited access. The next page is page 23, which provides a site plan. This is the overall site plan, which provides a view of where the building locations will be on site. And as far as everything, as far as roadways, have access. The survey on page 24 shows existing conditions of the site as is. That's previously stated is vacant. There is a 2-page survey, so this is page 1 of 2, and this is page 2 of 2. Both provide detailed look of the current area. Page 26 shows the building elevation for building 1, and these show the south elevation, east, west, and north. And then page 27 has the building number 2 elevation, well, for south, east, west, and north. Page 28 provides the materials that the applicant will part of the construction. And then page 29 is our staff recommendation. So the proposed project is compatible with the fourth part requirement. It will not have an adverse effect on the surrounding community. Based off of the information compiled for the staff report, staff recommends approve the design of this condition. So to ensure the compatibility and minimize impact on the adjacent residential property, the conditions are as follows. 1, the side of the building facing the residential property shall feature an enhanced facade incorporating a thoughtful design and a mix of materials to improve visual interest and better integrate with the neighborhood homes. Number 2, the applicant shall collaborate with staff to explore design options to enhance the residential view of the data center, given its close proximity to neighboring homes. And the final condition is number 3. A fencing buffer shall be installed along the west side of the structure to provide additional separation and screening between the data center and residential properties located to the west of the proposal.
Thank you. Now we're in the public comment phase. I'm sorry. Okay. Does anyone have any comments in favor of this item? If you'd like to speak, just step up to the mic and state your name and address, please. Afternoon.
Things I would like to point out with this development is, given that it's currently landfill, the site is a landfill, one of the things that we're doing as part of this development is a cleanup of the site. A lot of the soils that are contaminated will be removed. So I just want to make sure that that was understood, that that's a definite benefit of what we're doing.
Thank you for that. Anyone else?
I have a question, sir. Does that site have any contamination that is worthy of any further review?
I know there's testing going on currently for groundwater. Yeah, so there is testing going on currently, but our intent is for the landfill areas to completely remove those from.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any more comments in favor? Seeing and hearing none, any comments against this item? Please come to the mic, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Location for Local Road, 30-year resident of that area. I oppose the data center because of the negative impacts that will happen that neighboring houses in, I know it says that it's for Gillum, but it will affect the people from District 3, for Warm 3. Also, we're not taking into consideration the fact that we're near the airport, so we also have to take that into consideration. And that area is heavily industrial, so the gases from those, as well. So let's just consider the negative impacts on the neighbors. There's people that are elderly in that area, there are people with asthma. And not only that, but, you know, I know that we say that we're gonna make it look pretty on the outside, but it doesn't matter how beautiful it is on the outside. It's gonna be about the impact it's gonna have on the health of people. Thank you.
I have a question. What is that impact that you are concerned with?
Actually, I work with, MS4, and we actually provide the reporting of the water for the whole county. So that's, they are, studies done of the negative impacts. If I could give the staff later on the links for that, and I think, I don't know who runs the MS4 for the city, but I can also give Mr. Clark the studies on that. Also, let's see, the cool down, it requires a lot of electricity to cool down the centers. Furthermore, it also, he's talking about how it's gonna clean the area up, but that's a lot of trees that will be cut down, and that's, once again, that's a negative impact on our, environment.
I have a question regarding how this is done. Would not the arborist have a say in how this is developed? Thank you.
While you're there, just clarify something for us and maybe the audience too. So our purview here is to look at the aesthetics and how it blends in with the environment. There was another meeting where people who had concerns about the other issues that happened already. When did that meeting happen?
Based off of this specific item, They met all of the district standards, so there was not a need to go to planning commission or mayor and council for this. This meeting is specifically to approve the architectural design and the facade and anything affecting the exterior of the structure.
So if the audience, members of the audience have a concern about, like she mentioned environmental issues, where should they send those concerns?
Yes, if there are concerns, in that matter, they are able to speak during the public comment section, though, as stated, this particular item did not go before the mayor and council. If people have interest to speak against anything within the city or speak for anything within the city, they are able to speak during the public comment section during that.
The council meeting, right? Okay. Thank you. Any more comments?
That I'm very energetic about coming to speak, because I'm definitely against this situation that they're trying to present to the.
Excuse me, do you mind stating your name, please?
I think it's Linda Townsend. They are presently developing a data center. It is less than 5 miles away from where I live. Now, I'm looking at some information that I saw on the internet. And it's a table, and it says rationale for recommended remedial action alternatives for Gillum, Forest Park, Georgia. Now, this is something that happened around 2014, where there were vapor intrusions in the community surrounding Fort Gillum. Every 5 years, they have to come through and reevaluate those problems. Now, we're coming in and we want to have 2 data centers with the same types of problems. You know what? We're gonna eventually become Clayton County, Death Valley City.
Thank you. Any more comments? Please state your name, sir. Thank you.
Close proximity. Certain cities. And when the wind blows, it impacts the neighbor. And so that's why I'm here, but I'm a little concerned that many of your citizens missed out on the opportunity to speak before the council to bring forth those concerns. I don't know if, your presenters had town hall meetings or anything, but, this is how you create discourse in your community. We want to be heard. We deserve to be heard. In fact, many of us have received our property tax notice, and we know we're paying taxes, so we want to be heard. We demand to be heard. So please don't, forget that the people have a very important say in what happens here. I won't belay my time here because I know there's other people who want to speak, but this is what I'm concerned with is with the rapid growth of generative AI and big tech's rates to build new data centers, how are we ensuring that these facilities don't place an unsustainable burden on our energy grid, our environment? Like before you should have an EPA environmental report about this. That's what you should be looking at right now to help you with this decision making. And our public health, our neighbor just was talking about a data center coming up in Ellenwood and how that's may impact our public health. Our infrastructure, the local communities, how are we protecting? What safeguards do we have in place there? And most importantly, transparency and accountability for this industry as it continues to scale. And one last thing, I never hear any mention of a community benefit agreement. We're giving away all our incentives and tax abatement, but we're not demanding reinvestment in our community. I don't hear any commitment to how they're going to reinvest into our parks, into our libraries, into our public schools. we're giving away everything, but we don't expect anything in return. That needs to stop, especially when people paying their hard-earned money towards property tax.
Thank you. Savon, for the record, one more time. Is this item still, does it still have to go in front of the council before it goes forward?
First and third Monday, this is a continuous calendar, meeting for city council every first and third Monday. So at that time, anyone from the public that has any comments, concerns, they are able to go and speak for the mayor council any first and third Monday.
Only if you're a Forest Park resident.
Please don't yell out.
Yeah, please come to the podium. One person at a time.
Yeah, I was here Monday. They stated that this is the board that needs to hear our concerns. Yes, they did. They stated that. So I don't know what the miscommunication is between the boards or what's going on. But if I was here Monday and I'm told to be here on Friday, this is the only reason why I'm here. Like I said, I already emailed every single council member to state my concerns. So I'm doing every single step that they tell me to do to oppose this. But it seems like they're passing just the blame, which is not okay for us residents.
So this is Eric, the purpose of the Urban Design Review Board, which is the meeting that we're attending today at this time. The Urban Design Review Board only is the architectural design of a structure, the facade, anything that will be, influencing the exterior of the building. That is the only thing the Urban Design Review Board can, vote upon and pass, review on. So that is the purpose of why we're here. So I do understand the concerns that everyone has, but at this time, we can only discuss the architectural design, which is the purpose that we're here.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yeah.
Please feel free to provide additional insight with that.
Good morning, good afternoon. Are your comments in relation to the architectural design of the building?
Okay. Yes. So it seems as though when the city council had the meeting, this was not even put up for public comment, which is why the community has been sent to you all. I apologize that you all have been put in this position. But the community has not been able to address city council about this project. My question is, speaking on the design, it seems as though, she's spoken that two parts, the north and the west, is outside of the city limits. So I am to assume.
I'm sorry, it's outside of the overlay district, which we are as a board, that's what we meet on, the overlay district. You were saying those two. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Project as county? Or is it Clayton County or is it another county? What? If it's outside of the city limits, then county residents this should be brought before the Board of Commissioners to speak on behalf of the parts of the project that's not in the city limits.
Just for clarity, that's fine, if you could, well, that is the zoning map, if you could bring up the aerial map. Yeah. So if you could zoom in, the map here and the portion of the property highlighted in red is on the city limit line. So where the red boundaries are the city of Forest Park. The north, where you see kind of grayed out in the western area, that is outside the city limits. But the parcel here, in the photo provided in the aerial map is inside of the city limits of Fort. So the reason why we were requesting some additional things for aesthetics is because the neighbors that are on the western portion of the property, their backyard is going to be, facing, well, their backyard is going to be on the western portion of the neighborhood. And then the north boundary, the residents, their backyard is going to be there as well. There is a tree buffer surrounding the area, but as staff, we want to make sure that the architectural design and the elements that will affect or be noticeable by the neighboring community are, rectified. That is the purpose of our conditions that we make on. So this, for record, this is in the city limits. None of the structure of this property is outside the city limits. When I discuss contiguous property, that means property lines that are surrounding the adjacent property, so north, south, east, and west of the property.
Okay, so it's obvious that there are a lot of concerns about this, and maybe there's some misinformation. So I think that it's best that the board tables this item and allows the public to do their due diligence with their council members and the mayor. How's- I guess what I want to reiterate, the item,
Spoke, we want to speak out and say something for the record.
Simone,
but it's nothing I can do about it though. Because this is not the right forum.
excuse me one second. I just want to address the public, as well as the board members. Fort Gillum District was specifically made for industrial uses. The entirety of Fort Gillum consists of industrial uses, large industrial facilities, small industrial facilities, are all placed within this district. Now, this district, based on the zoning, allows this use by right. It is written in the code that computer centers and things of that sort are specifically permitted within this district. So that is the reason why that it did not go before mayor and council, because typically uses that are permitted have conditions on it, such as setbacks and heights and standards based on the zoning where the parcel is located. Now, as Ms. Kumasa has pointed out, staff has added some additional conditions because of the fact that we do understand that this is not a popular use within the residential districts. They are, people feel that it has negative impacts, and what we were trying to do was abate some of the negative impacts. It's not going to abate everything, but some of the negative impacts by installing fencing, installing buffers, making sure that the building kind of doesn't stand out like a sore thumb, so to speak. If I'm not mistaken, there will be a substation within this particular facility. So most of the electricity that they're using is coming from the substation that they have on site. So it will address some of the electricity issues. I'm not sure about the water stuff. I do know that there's retention ponds and things of that sort on the site as well. But what I will say is that we do understand the concerns, and the public is well and within their right to come and speak about it. But all that staff was reiterating as it relates to this particular board, all that they can address is the exterior design standards. That's not to say that your comments are not taken into consideration per se, but this board can only address how it looks. They cannot address the fact that that facility is being located there. And so we do understand your concerns. We will go back and talk to the applicant and see what else can be done to deal with community concerns. However, this board is only going to evaluate whether the building looks like it can fit in the community based on the conditions that staff has given. And once again, as Ms. Kumasa has pointed out, if any of the members of the public have any comments with regards to the looks or the aesthetics of this building, staff as well as the board is more than happy to take that into consideration when evaluating the building for aesthetics and things of that nature, which is what this board evaluates for. So we appreciate you coming out and being here. We are taking your comments into consideration, but we just wanted to mention the parameters to which this board operates. So thank you very much for being here.
Yeah. Yeah, for a minute.
Yes. So there's some additional comments, so I'll.
I'm supposed to answer that question.
Making sure this is on. Who can we present our comments to? Now, aside from the building looks beautiful. 1.6 million square feet may be a bit much, but it looks all right. But I'm still concerned about the concept of a data center here in Forest Park, even if it's in Gillum. Because the city residents of this city many years ago rolled over and said, okay, Waste Management, we'll let you drop some waste here. And now we have a transfer station that we can't seem to get rid of in Ward 4. We don't want to be a dumping ground. Please pass that information along to those decision makers.
Tanya Jean Funny again, unincorporated Clayton County. So I understand what you're saying, but I do believe that when the codes were written for industrial and things like that, we understood that. But that was before the time of these large data centers. So I think it is time where we go back and look at what exactly is being proposed, because there are a lot of studies now. And when you talk about the substation, yes, they can build a substation to provide the electricity, but who's paying for that electricity for the substation? It's not being paid for by the company. It's being paid for by the community. And that would be all of the community, not just the people that live in that area. And also, we need to find out about the water issue. Water issue in Fort Gillum has always been a problem. I'm a science teacher. I've taught this to my students. We've done research on the contamination of the water system. This data center won't make that any better. And there are different ways to try to contain some of the issues that we have, but they're not being addressed by the city council, and they're definitely not going to be addressed by the developers, because that's going to cost them more money to do the things that really need to be done. So I would advise, who cares how pretty the building looks if it is going to cause more environmental damage to the community as a whole. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Brenda Harrison, unincorporated Clayton County, but right at both centers, Ellenwood and Gillum. And my concern, please, you're tabling because clearly you guys have more questions, and I totally get that, because most of us in the audience have served on boards and are currently serving on boards. So we do understand the position that you're in. Now, in reference to the what the building looks like, has the developer considered solar panels? Because Georgia Power has already said that they are going to tap into the power grid massively, and that's going to affect all of us. So that has to be taken into consideration. They know about solar panels, but nothing is being said about it. The water issue, massive. Did you know that there was a data center currently in the old JCPenney outlet store? And the Clayton County Water Authority has stated they are using a massive amount of our water here in Clayton County, which in turn reduces the water flow for the rest of us that live in the county. So in reference to the aesthetics of the building, solar power, windmills, the water, what are you talking about? They're going to be using our fresh water. And you guys need to do more research before you make a decision. It's just my suggestion. But thank you for listening.
My name is Jean-Claude Bourget, Clayton County resident, Greater Clayton. My concern is, I'm thinking about the future, thinking about my children, my grandchildren. Great, this is going to bring a lot of money, a lot of revenue. Hey, I don't see how it's going to do any of that since there's been an abatement given to them for over 10 years, whatever, right? Second thing is, we need to really research about the water. Everyone's touched about it. I know from all the research that I've been doing, there's an issue. We have got to be more proactive as this county to do our research and not just simply accept what's being told to us by the developers. We need to have a vision for our county and know exactly what we want, how we want it, not just let some developer come in and just tell us this is what they're going to do for us. They need us. We don't need them, okay? We can dictate what it is that we want to get done in our county. We can actually do that, but firstly, let's do some more research and understand what's being brought to us. Why has Atlanta put in a moratorium with Data County, for data centers? There's a reason for that, okay? So we've got the information. Now there's no reason. When I used to do research, I had to go to libraries, all this, I had to drive. Now I can sit in front of my desk at home and do all kinds of research worldwide. So there's no excuse. Let's do some more research before we accept everything. Thank you.
Any more comments? Okay. So, Savon, what does tabling this, how does it impact the schedule?
So you all would have to make a motion on that if that's what you're proposing to do. Schedule wise, if this is tabled, then they would have to go back before the Urban Design Review Board on the third Friday in July, following the third Thursday.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
I have a statement regarding, regarding the visuals of this that we have purview over. How will that buffer be, how will that buffer between on the west and north side be done? Is it simply putting up some trees? Will it be a berm with some trees or what?
So there is currently trees listed, but as staff was reviewing the property, we thought that adding some additional fencing, you all as the board are able to add additional conditions to what we propose to you all as well, if you see fit from your point of view. Did you have any additional comments?
Well, yes, technically what would occur is, at this point, we did ask for fencing and then we did ask for a buffer. The distance of the buffer, we will have to look at with we have a new landscaper that's working with the city. So we will be working with them to figure out what the maximum buffer could be to ensure protection between the use and the citizens. So there will be a buffer and there will be fencing and landscaping all incorporated along those two sides to try and deal with or abate any negative impacts to the residents. So once we get with the architect, we'll be able to get some details once they're able to look at the drawings and the size and dimensions of the area, and then put together something that they feel would be appropriate to do what we're trying to do, which is basically provide some kind of buffer and make sure the aesthetics are not displeasing to the neighboring residents.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that as one of the conditions. That's good.
Yes, but at any time, if you all feel there's additional conditions that should be added, you are able to provide that to us and we'll take that into consideration as well.
I
think
don't want
what
to
you have
prolong
is
this, but
sufficient.
I do have a question regarding, since we're dealing with the aesthetics of this, is there any audio or sound issue regarding a data center?
Joseph McLeod, 111 Lake Stone Parkway in Woodstock, Georgia. I'm the design lead for this project, for the data center company to develop our Digital Realty, published in the AJC that we're developing this. Any ordinances that are required for us for sound, we will be following that. We'll run a sound study, to take in current noise levels and then verify that we meet those acoustically at the end of design. And all of our equipment is attenuated to mitigate the sound in there.
I know that there are levels, decibel levels. That's the primary means by which that's adjudicated.
Okay.
My issue is, are there levels below which is considered standard that still would be, particularly on a continuous basis, harmful for community? That's just a general question.
Yeah, we did this study recently for another facility, and I think it came back that our operating levels are around 60 dBs, which that's about the sound of if you're outside your house, like your local residential air conditioning running, and that's within 10 meters of our equipment. Now, we'll have screening walls up to help because, sound is a physical wave. We'll have screening walls up to mitigate that sound from the local area. During our operation, they did make the point that construction is a process. So I'm sure at some point there could be construction-related activities that are within various levels, but as far as continuous operation, no. Like we were not that are harmful to the environment.
Would you indicate, whenever this gets represented, would you indicate the satisfaction of addressing that in your diagrams and sketches or drawings?
I think we could provide something to the board if they wanted to see that.
Yeah, we want to see it.
Okay.
I would like to see it.
Okay. How would we best do that? Submit it to?
Yes.
You'd submit it to us.
Yes.
Basically, what they're asking for is, I know within the structure itself, there are certain thicknesses and depths and insulation that's done. So that is what they're
Okay.
looking to see to evaluate whether the amount that you're using will deal with the noise, so there won't be any impact to the community. So that is what
Mhm.
they're asking for you to provide.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I have a table from another report that it would be modeling the same design that we can share with you for that.
Yeah, good. Were you about to ask a question?
The only thing I have is, at one time we had a landscape architect on this board, and he helped tremendously on what the surround should be on the property, as far as growth, sound, this sort of thing. And we don't have anything here other than there would be something. So
Okay.
I think it would be good if that was part of the plan also. So that we could see if you're talking about cypress, you're talking about whatever,
Mhm.
So you're asking for a landscape plan?
Hmm.
Just a landscape plan?
Yeah, landscape plan.
Yeah.
This has gotten kind of out of hand because we're worried about what color you're gonna do the aluminum siding, I mean, that's our part of this, but it seems to me that somewhere there has not been enough communication between what y'all are doing and what the community, the citizens want to see done. And so, I think a motion's been made to table or a
We
suggestion.
haven't made a motion yet, but.
Or a
if- if
suggestion
one of
to
us-
table this, but I think some things need to come together before we make our decision. I mean, I'm fine with the concept of your colors and everything. But maybe the sound barrier is something that we need to be more involved in. So,
Is that your motion?
I make a motion that we table it until we get this information back.
Got a second?
Do we need to provide anything at the almost at the where the property lines are to show like trees and such for theirs. Are you looking for that level of detail too?
That detail would be in your landscaping
Yeah.
plan.
And
And I
is that
understand there
for
is a
the
landscape
visible
plan,
to
we just,
see? Or is that is that submitted?
Landscape plan, really.
Okay.
yeah.
Alright.
So, yeah,
And I didn't get a second.
yeah, so,
So-
yeah, I like that idea, so. We got a motion, can I get a second?
Can I add one thing to it? I think one of the things we also mentioned, and that would actually be a aesthetic, if you're, looking as a possibility for like solar or whatever out there, that would actually be another aesthetic that we would have to look at as well to that building, if that is something that you're proposing to do.
We're a data center operator. We're not necessarily a power generator. So we do buy our power from Georgia Power, and they do have renewables that is in their power generation. So how they handle that, that would be what we purchase from them.
And just to provide additional context, the applicant has provided us a landscaping plan. So we do have a full landscaping plan that staff can share with you all as well.
All right, we got a motion on the table, is there a second?
I second.
All right, got a motion to second to table this. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. So we'll table to the next meeting.
So the next hearing will be July, the third Friday in July.
Say that again.
July 18th will be the next Urban Design Review Board meeting.
And if there's, if this is going to negatively impact anything else, I suppose we can do, with proper, notice, we can do an emergency meeting if we needed to, right? With proper notice to the public.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Seeing nothing else on the agenda, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Got a motion to second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Ayes have it. We're adjourned.